had a 6-time Olympic figure skating champion call you from the luxury of your own cell phone? Have you ever met someone who have come face to face with past Miss America winners? What about having the privilege to sit across from the first woman in the world to complete all 35 of Beethoven's sonatas? Today's guest has experienced all these scenarios firsthand through her internship at the Nog Hour and will be sharing her journey with us today. The Humanities Mass Communication Department at Nog Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television future writers, new directors, and personalities. And now join your host, Leah Schwartz, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they have planning, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is an intern writer at the Hour newspaper in Norwalk, Connecticut. Her assignments have led her to accomplish different articles and meeting a lot of famous people. Please meet today's guest, Hasime Ukperaj. Hi.
Hello.
So now that we know you're an intern staff writer at the Hour, can you tell us about some of the most interesting articles you've conducted?
Sure. Well, being a staff writer at the Hour, I am assigned different articles, anything ranging from features to news to entertainment. So it's up to me to get all the articles in on time and on deadline. And there are times when I'm faced with the last-minute article report, such as the first article I wrote for the Hour, which was one on Reverend Lindsay E. Curtis, who is a pastor here in Norwalk and is a part of the NAACP chapter. And he was providing a lecture at NCC for Black History Month. And in that lecture, he told everyone about all the Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, all about the history behind that. And all the students were really intrigued, and I had to get that article in by 5 o'clock that day, and I had like 3 hours to get it in. So that was a tough article to do, but it was one of my first, and it landed actually as a front cover story.
Wow. Which
you'll see in a bit. But I mean, there are times when I do get last minute articles handed in, and that. But one interesting interview that I had was with a piano player who was Hyunmi Chung. She's the first woman in the world to complete all 35 of Beethoven's sonatas, and she was looking for a place in Greenwich where she can teach new students prospering for the piano. So she was successful in doing that, and she was really an inspirational woman to interview. Wow. She really was, and I learned a lot from her.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Can you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Well, I decided to take the TV production course because I was interested in seeing how television programs and television shows work. Me being a journalism major, I think it's necessary for me to get a behind-the-scenes look at the broadcasting and communication side of it in case I ever want to do that kind of journalism work. Mm-hmm. So I feel this is a good opportunity for that.
That's great. What are some of the most useful things you've learned in the TV production course?
Some of the useful things are probably the Avid editing program, which everyone finds difficult. But mostly, I think for me, the most useful thing was learning how to properly shoot a scene, which is 2 different methods. First, you have to zoom in on the object, and you have to change the angle every time. And we also learned about composition and how it affects different scenes, where you can provide depth to your pictures, such as converging lines, framing, and shift focus.
Great. Tell us about the productions you created for the TV1 course, the Learning Sequence, the Nature Project, Guns and Hoses, and the Orange Project.
For those productions, I had a lot of fun, and I really liked the way they turned out. The first one is which one is that? That's the Learning Sequence. Yeah. The Learning Sequence gave us behind-the-scenes look at how it was that we shoot a scene. I used various shots consisting of close-ups and medium shots. So this was the first time that I was behind the camera, so I showed the characters different movements, and this sequence displayed a storyline pertaining to a student walking into the first day of school and meeting up with his friend who didn't know her way around, so he went to the elevator to the second floor to meet her, and he then helps her find the class. But
That's great.
yes. And the second video was Guns and Hoses. This was a basic foundation for Avid, the editing program. We got to understand how it works, and it introduced us to learning and using visual effects, such as turning the red siren to blue and flapping the pictures using graphic images. It was a big indicator that helped us to set the rest of the guidelines for the other projects, and also keying in titles at the end. Right. And my third was the nature project. Here we were instructed to capture the beauty of nature that usually gets overlooked by people. I used specific camera movements such as poor man's dissolve, rack shift focus, various zooms in and outs, framing and converging lines. We were also asked to capture close-ups of still objects and of nature. I used specific effects to transition one image to another, and we were then told to apply audio to create a mellow mood to the piece. But overall, I really liked the way it came out. And the fourth one was the orange. This one was really fun. The storyline involved making someone find an orange and then losing it. My character found his while dropping his pen in the classroom, and then he lost it in the library, which you see right here.
Wow.
And this was fun to shoot because we were making up our own storylines and giving our own characters their own life to the story. And I really enjoyed it a lot.
That sounds like a really fun project.
Yeah, it was fun.
Now, I know you had one project that you felt was your best. Tell me a little about it, and then we'll watch the video.
Well, the best project I would have to say is the Orange Project, which I named Orange Burst. I think it was the best because we used a lot of different camera movements, and since it was the last project, we had taken what we learned throughout the whole semester and just applied all of the effects to it. And I think that the character I made, which was a young student in art class, I think he was really into the whole project and scene. And I also use suspenseful music with it, so it can kind of give a mystery to the orange and show the deeper impact of the orange to the character. And with this project, we used everything we learned throughout the semester in order to make it the best we could. I know I used a lot of transitions, effects, keying, wiping, but overall I think it turned out well.
That's great.
Yeah.
So after learning how to shoot and edit all of these projects, what would you like to create next?
Next, I'd probably like to learn more about the Avid program, use maybe effects I didn't use before, and transitioning. Also, I'd like to probably shoot more videos, some that are more pertaining to the Orange Project, where we can make our own storylines and own characters and provide life to something.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, what career would you like to pursue after graduation?
After graduation, I'd like to pursue the journalism or communications field, and with it, I'll take everything that I learned from TV production and apply it to the journalism field. Maybe instead of being behind the scenes writing the articles, I'll be up close filming the TV production going on or the broadcasting program going on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Today we had the opportunity to go behind the scenes look at people journalists and have an interview. Hasime will pursue her special production major and has learned a lot in the TV production class. We'd like to thank our guest, Hasime Ukperaj, for joining us today. Thanks.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoy meeting our future writer and directors, and hope you will join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and good day.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Leah Schwartz, directed by Michael Gallardi. I'm your host, I'm your announcer, Robsley August. The New Directors is a North Community College student